What's up, guys? It's your boy Kevon, and welcome to Central Hustlers Podcast.
How you doing, man?
All right, so I'm your host JP, and we got a special guest. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Ayisha. I'm a photographer and videographer and clothing brand owner of ARC Edge Styles. I'm actually wearing one of the hoodies that I designed myself.
Okay. So let's get started. Oh, before we get started, we like to ask everybody about their mental health. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where your mental health at right now?
Right now, my mental health is like about a 9.
Okay, that's pretty good. Why 9?
Well, I got up this morning, worked out, journaled, prayed, and then focused on building my business more.
Okay, Manny.
About an 8.9.
Okay, why that?
Some things I got to work on to grow on.
Yeah. Trey.
Can't feel it. Nah. But it's an 8. It's an 8. Simply just, things I got to work on and just continue growing.
Yeah. Okay. Mine is a 9. Just like she said, woke up, and that's all I can ask for is every day get a chance to do what I love to do and just keep making an impact on life, and other people's lives. So that's with that. So all right, let's get started. How you became a photographer? How you got into it?
Yeah, so it was during the pandemic. I had got laid off from my first full-time job right out of college and everything, and I started working at Best Buy part-time, and I learned about the cameras. There was a camera salesman for Canon, and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing photography? Because I see you like to, go out, travel, go to concerts. And I was like, I never thought about it. And he was like, here, give it a try. So I tested one of the cameras because during the pandemic, they let us, borrow cameras and take them home and try them out and stuff like that. So
Dang.
I tested a camera out, and I was like, you know what? I really like this camera. So I ended up, buying my first Canon camera. Then I got the lens and the tripods and all that type of stuff. And then the Canon specialist was like, oh, if you bring your camera here, I can show you, how to use your camera and how to take pictures, how to edit, all that stuff. So I was like, okay.
Dang.
So every day at work when it was, slow and we had no customers, I would just break out my camera, and he would just start showing me the basics of how to shoot with my camera and everything. And then from there, I just started networking at different, venues and concerts. And then I landed, a job with Getty Images after building up my portfolio.
That's dope. That's dope.
It's tough.
He plugged you for real. Like he gave
Yeah.
you some
Good
key.
information.
Did you was it hard at first? Or is it still hard?
Yeah, it's still hard to this day because I'm still trying to get more everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first had my camera, I was doing free photo shoots, just trying to get myself out there. But nobody wasn't really taking me up on the free photo shoots. And I get it, everybody don't want their pictures taken by someone that just bought a camera yesterday.
Yeah.
So, so I get it. So that's how I ended up I'm going to start reaching out to different venues in Dallas and see if I can get a media pass and take pictures of concerts. And so that's how I really started building up my exposure and figuring out how to use my camera in fast settings and stuff. And with concerts, they move very fast. So, if you don't post your picture within that same night, then no one's going to look at your work.
Understandable.
Makes sense.
Have you done football sports events?
I've done a few celebrity sports events.
Yeah.
There was a MLB All-Star Celebrity Game that was here a couple, last year. I did that one, and I'm trying to work more on doing sports in general, because the last sports I did was Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. So I did that one. So now I'm okay, I really want to do either boxing or NBA or NFL.
So was the boxing event, was that hard to do?
Yeah, that was pretty hard. It was so many
Trying to capture that
photographers
key
there.
moment.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was about to ask. Since this is events like that, especially football or NFL, since there's so many photographers or whatever, how do you get your picture to get, I guess, get posted or they share it or something like that? What do you have to do? Or you just post it and just wish for the best?
since I work with Getty, my pictures
Yeah.
get posted on the Getty website that same night. And normally the management team will purchase the pictures off of Getty, and then I get paid from that.
Do y'all know how big that is?
Yeah.
Because
I
you
was
know
like, I've
what
heard
Getty,
of Getty.
that's like images
like-
that you, if you Google something right now,
It's right there.
I'm pretty sure they on there, like for the picture too. So that's big.
That is.
That's real big.
Was you happy when you got that deal or whatever?
Oh yeah. It was because so it's a story behind that one too.
Right.
So when I was in grad school, I was working a graduate assistant position on campus, and one of my coworkers, she wanted to meet this guy off of Twitter in LA, and I was more concerned about her safety.
Where you went to school?
UNT.
Dang, so all the way out there, she trying to.
And so, I
crazy.
was like, I don't want to just, be the last person to see her.
Yeah.
If she
Right.
go out there to meet this random guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to come with you. So I went with her. We bought our tickets and everything. And it was so last minute. So we flew on Spirit. Very uncomfortable seats.
I've never.
Yeah. And like we split a hotel. And I had a friend that I knew out there already who was able to like pick us up and everything and drive us around. So we wouldn't have to worry about like rental cars and Ubers. And so while she met up with the guy, I had reached out to SoFi Stadium, which is like this huge stadium to have like concerts and stuff like that. Because I saw Bad Bunny was going to be in town. And I'm a huge fan of Bad Bunny. So I was like, man, I really want to go to his show. His show is sold out everywhere. It's like impossible to get a
believe it.
ticket. So I reached out to the venue and they approved me for a media pass after I sent them like my portfolio and stuff like that. And I get there and there's this older guy who had like all the cameras set up in the soundboard, which is like kind of close to the back of the whole arena. And I was like, man, I don't even have all that camera equipment. Like, I know he's been doing this for a while. So I walked over to him, introduced myself, and I was like, man, I see you came prepared. Are you with the tour? And he was like, no, I work for Getty. And I was like, man, I really want to work for Getty. So I told him how much I've been like shooting concerts and all that stuff for free. And I showed him my work. And he was just like, okay, yeah, take down my information and I'm going to pass my information to my managers because I'm sure they need somebody out in Dallas, which turned out they did. They didn't have nobody covering like sports or entertainment for Getty in Dallas at the time. So I went through like a whole interview process, a virtual interview process, and then they hired me on to like cover all sporting and entertainments for the Dallas.
This during
That's
COVID.
Yeah, well, this was right after COVID ended, so it was like 2022 or 21. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. Like through all this process, right? What's going in your like? You think you made it yet, or like?
Well, I haven't made it yet.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to like be able to do Getty full time. Right now, based on where I live, there's not a lot of events that Getty sponsor out here. So if I was to eventually move to Atlanta, LA, or New York, then I could do that full time, and I'd be like, okay, finally, I made it.
if you was to like wake up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna move to Atlanta," would they offer you the full time position right now?
Yeah, there would be events like in Atlanta. There's events every week going on.
With everybody
And-
down there, I believe it.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
they
lot of
always
people.
need photographers, so I could always, build up my network with Getty, and then also get more clients out of the people that show up at the events. So I could turn it into a full time thing.
So how long have you been with Getty?
About a year and a half. Yeah.
Why you chose photographer over videographer? Unless you record
Well, I'm
videos
learning
too.
videography right now because I do want to be able to do both. Because I see videos, they sell a lot more than pictures.
Yeah.
Especially on Reels and YouTube and all that stuff. So that's my next goal is just conquering how to edit videos. Because I have a great camera, but I just need to learn how to edit and make transitions and different effects on the videos.
So what's important? Like when you get a camera, you got your camera. Is the camera important or what you put on the camera is more important to the quality of the picture? Or is it the edit?
I would say for someone who don't know how to use a camera, start with a low budget camera and then work your way up. It's just that since I was working at Best Buy, I
You
had
already-
that one-on-one training
Right.
to where I didn't have to start with like a low budget camera. But I definitely recommend just picking up a camera and figuring out how to use it and then gradually go to like the bigger cameras.
What's a low budget camera? Cause
Like
cameras,
500 or
and that's
less.
what I was about to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Low
Oh,
budget.
500.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also seen like somebody on TikTok. They had a camera. It probably was like for 500, but the lens that they had on it was like 4 bands or something like that. Why is the lens so high by itself? And it's just a in a nutshell, a glass. Why do you think it's so high? Like it's
So different lenses do different things.
Uh-huh.
So say like if you're shooting nature and you're out in the wildlife, you're gonna have to get one of those long lenses that's like 4,000 or 5,000 in order to capture animals running or birds in the sky. So it just depends on what you're doing. Now for like sports and stuff, you don't have to get no like lenses like $3 or $4 grand for sports.
There's,
Like,
there's a lot of them I see they have those long lenses
Yeah.
where it's like the little gray ones.
well, I think they be like on the field and they trying to get like the end zone picks from the other side. So maybe I don't know. All that stuff be crazy because like photography is like really dope. Like how the quality, and then also I've seen I forgot who it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lloyd or what's the other dude I said? Who you took pictures of? Just name some people that you singers or rappers that you done.
I took pictures of Sweetie.
Jacquees?
Yeah, Jacquees.
Okay,
I was
that's
on
the one.
Jacquees'
That's the
tour.
one.
Yeah.
How you get
Who's that?
involved with that?
So I knew a guy. His name is Nick Lavelle.
Mhm.
He was opening act for Jacquees, and they've been like best friends and business partners. Everything. They all live in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And I was cool with Nick, and I asked him like, "Hey, do you need an extra camera person for your tour? I can cover like some of the dates, not all the tour, but just some of them, because I was still in grad school and still working part time with my job at UNT. So I was like, I'm gonna just put in vacation days and go to whichever tour dates I can make it to." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, come along." So I went and I covered like all of the Texas dates, and then I went to Orlando and covered the Florida date too. So that was pretty cool. But I knew him from trying to remember what show it was. Oh, he was on tour with Eric Bellinger and Sammy. And he was the opening act for them too. And so I had reached out to him on IG, and he's Greek as well. And I was like, "Hey, I see you're Greek. I'm Greek because I'm an AKA."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, I see you're coming to Dallas. Can I take some pictures for you?" And this is back when I was still learning my camera and just trying to get, networking and just out there in general. And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So I went to this venue called the Echo Lounge, which is like down the street from here. And I took pictures of Eric Bellinger, Nick, and Sammy. And then from there, we just kept in contact.
So what would you say is like your top 3 moment for taking like pics?
I want to say, I'm trying to think.
The Jacquees story sound kind of lit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Jacquees
So-
tour was fun,
Listen,
you
They
know.
sound kind of lit.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. He got some dedicated fans, and then I was able to like give him and his whole team like my hoodies that I had made too, because I
Yeah.
made like a whole bunch of hoodies in advance for the tour, and I was like, I'm gonna give it to his manager, his security, Jacquees. I introduced myself to Jacquees like the first day that I was on the tour. I was like, "Hey, check out my brand. Here's my clothing brand." And he was like, "Oh, I like it." And so like he told me he wore it and everything. So I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, that's dope.
That's dope.
yeah."
What's the have you ever like what's a celeb that like followed you or hit you up for you to take their pictures? That you was like shocked of like, dang, they really noticed me.
I'm trying to think. Cause see, the thing with celebs are a lot of people hit them up to take their
Yeah.
pictures, and they don't respond to every photographer's
Yeah.
messages.
Of course.
So normally, if I see somebody coming into town, and if I don't know their managers and stuff, I'll reach out to their managers like a month or 2 in advance and be like, "Hey, I see you're coming into town. Do you have a photographer? If not, I can come out and take some pictures for you and everything, or like little small reels."
See, that's
Normally
that's
they don't
dedication.
reach out to photographers because there's so many already reaching
Yeah.
out to them.
That's dedication to say like 2 months prior, you hitting them up like, and what you get maybe grad school, but like your marketing skills. It's like you're not scared to like market yourself. Like
Oh yeah, I was scared at first because being a black female photographer out here, it was kind of scary because I was like, man, I'd be the only woman in the whole room sometimes taking pictures because it's mainly like a male dominated field. Like there's not too many black women photographers
Facts.
out there in general, and so sometimes I was the only woman in the whole room, and I'd be like, man, I don't know about this, and like my mom would be like, you need a personal security guard, and I'm like, security cool and all, but sometimes some places I can't bring a security guard in with me because then they're gonna be like, well, we ain't got no pass for that person. Like we cleared it for you, but who is this person? Because I did try and like get other women photographers to come with me, but it never worked out. Like either they would get jealous or they wasn't getting attention from the celebrity, and it was just a mess. That's why I'm like, it's just best I just don't bring nobody.
So what's one of the hardest shoots you've done?
The hardest one? Let me see. I'm trying to think. There were so many. I just came back from like the Kirk Franklin tour. He was on tour like last year, so I just came back from that one. And I think that was fun because that was the first time I was actually on a tour bus, and we was like traveling from city to city. So we had started in Philly and then just worked our way down. But I think that was pretty fun, just seeing like the whole setup of the arena and then how they build the stage and everything from scratch, and then seeing how Kirk and his singers would rehearse before the show and like just the whole setup. I think that was pretty cool.
And you reached out to him or he hit you up?
No, so I had took photos of his show for Getty like about 6 months before because he was on another tour called the Exodus Tour. And I had took those pictures, sent them to Getty. And then while I was in the photo pit, there was another photographer. Well, he was a videographer. He was out there taking like videos of Kirk and the whole show. And I introduced myself to him, and I was like, hey, I see Kirk is always traveling. Let me know if they ever needed like an extra camera person or photographer for whenever he goes on tour again. And he was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to my production team who like takes the videos and stuff for Kirk. So I'm like, okay. So he introduced me to the production team, and then that's how I was able to get on the tour to go with Kirk and everybody else as an extra camera person.
Jesus. The marketing, bro. You got to market yourself. And you just doing this off the strength of like,
it's yourself.
Yeah, just myself. I watched like a whole bunch of YouTube videos on what to say when you're like messaging the managers and the security and the chefs and all that stuff. And then I go from there. Because there's certain stuff you don't say in the message. Like, you don't want to come off like you begging.
Yeah.
Because then they not going to respond.
Please let me take a picture. Please.
I love you for that. Like,
don't message somebody and be like, oh my God, I love this person. Like, they're not going to respond.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, I don't want them around.
Right.
So who you want to take pictures of? What's one thing that you, I guess, on the way up, you want to take pictures of, celeb, event? Like, what's something that you haven't done yet?
I haven't taken pictures of Chris Brown yet. That's like at the top of my list. Chris Brown and Beyonce.
Of course.
Yeah.
Beyonce, that's tough.
Yeah, it's hard to get in
She's
with
rarely out.
Beyonce. Yeah,
they treat Beyonce like the president.
Yeah, it's hard.
Then
Like
on top
she
of that, she's
has
rarely
her
out.
dedicated photographers there, and it's like, man, you got to be really in the crowd that been with her since she was like in her early 20s, really, to be taking
But
pictures of her.
with Beyonce, I've realized, like, even with what she did, the football game, Texas and whatever, and perform, it's a lot of people she put on. But this dancers though, but it's like people that I follow and all that, and I see that they dancing behind her. I'm like, that's crazy. Beyonce really, like, she would give the leaning hand, but like you say, photographer is 1 million photographers at one event. So it's kind of, I mean, you kind of do got a little edge over probably some of them, but Chris Brown too, that'd be dope too. Like, it's hard. I remember one time, a little story, a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, Chris Brown came at North Park, and I seen him. Not gonna lie, I was doing what you say not to do. I was up in there. Chris Brown, bro. I mess with you. Like, I could cook you something. Like, just be. And I went to North Park and everything and could not find him. But I asked the person. They say he just left the store, bro. I said, dang. But now he probably see my message like this fan, like, bro. So Chris Brown to be dope too. That'll put you up. What now? Have your friends like look, since you do this, they'll hit you with that like, can I get a discount or free stuff when they know you on a path of your grind?
Oh yeah, all the time. I have people reaching out saying, "Hey, can you shoot this for free?" And I'd be like, "You wasn't with me when I first bought the camera and was offering free shoots, and now you expect me to work with you for free? I can't do it." Like I turned down so many people that just come at me like, "Hey, do it for free." Like, no.
Oh, what have somebody that you was trying to do it for free hit you up and now they want it for free?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they always come back. It's like no matter what, they always come back because then they'd be like, "Man, I seen all your work. You work with all these amazing people and." Man, I don't have a budget right now, but I'm about to blow up. And I'm just like, no. Like, you need to find a budget or something.
Right.
Like, because I don't have celebrity prices. So, like, my prices are different for different clientele. Like, I'm not going to charge a regular everyday working person who do 9 to 5, $3,000 for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
So what is your price range as of right now?
So it varies depending on what it is. Yeah. So like for portraits or something like outdoors, I start at $300 depending on what it is, and then it just goes up from $300.
That's what's up.
Do you like taking like outdoor pictures, or what do you feel like is your top?
I like outdoor a lot because that's what I started with, but I do like portraits like indoors too because you have perfect lighting and you can like fix the light into what you need.
What you edit on?
I have Adobe Creative Suite, so I edit all my pictures on Lightroom and all of that stuff.
Yeah, you might have to give me tips. So even with like, I be using Lightroom for my like my pictures that I post on Instagram with the cooking. Lightroom is hard because I don't get it. Like they say use regular picture, then they say the color grading and stuff. That color grading, I spent almost like 5 hours looking at videos of color grading and still don't understand it. So y'all have a eye on a lot of things because that's not easy, bro. Like, have you was that something hard that you, or it just came to you when you started?
Oh no, it was hard for me because I first started with regular Lightroom, and then my mentor who had referred me into Getty, he was like, "You need to be using Lightroom Classic." Not the other Lightroom. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to open Lightroom Classic, watch YouTube videos and all of that type of stuff on how to do it and how to Photoshop certain things out. Because, like, whenever I take pictures of people and they don't want, like, their apartment name in the background, I got to Photoshop that whole thing out.
Or some people say, like, they see something like, oh, I don't like how my stomach look up or something like that. They got to edit all that stuff. So what's your favorite, like, do you got a favorite like season to take pictures, like Valentine's coming up and things of that nature, or Christmas just passed? Like, what's your favorite holiday?
I think my favorite is like Valentine's. I just did a Valentine's shoot last week, and I just posted on my Instagram that I'm doing like a special that I'm running just temporarily just to get more couples. Because that's my goal. Like, I want to have more couples to show on my page. And regular everyday people and less celebrities. That way people don't get like,
I
can't hit her up.
Yeah, because I've got that.
She too good.
I don't know about that one.
I definitely got that a lot. Like people be like, oh, I can't afford you. You a celebrity photographer. And I'm like, no, I'm a regular photographer first. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not rich. So it's just like, I just want regular people to notice my work. And the only way they've been able to notice it is because I take pictures of celebrities. But I don't base myself on a celebrity photographer.
So is there like a certain suite that you go to? You have your own suite or anything at all?
I'm working on it. That's my goal, to have like my own like photo suite and have people come in and everything. But that'll be once I build up my clientele.
Gotcha.
So where do you want to, like, do you have a certain number where you want your clientele to be at, or you don't know it yet?
I feel like once I start making like $10K a month, then I'll have more than enough to have a suite operating where people can like rent out my studio, take pictures and videos in there, and then go from there.
10K a month is crazy. Photography, I mean, it's possible. 'Cause I know like people charge for weddings 5 bands. Like that's just one wedding, bro. That's one wedding, and they probably like the bare minimum type thing. So, like, I know that's pricey. What's the some pros and cons that throughout this journey you witnessed?
I would definitely say, just be kind to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, they try and like talk to celebrities. Like I've noticed people would ignore the security guard or the chef or the stylist. And it's just like, hey, they're regular people. And you can't get to a celebrity if you ignoring everybody else that, help build that celebrity up. So I always was just nice and kind to people. Like last year, I took some pictures of Micah Parsons. And Getty had reached out to me and was like, hey, Micah Parsons needed a photographer, take pictures of his Christmas drive that he's doing to donate toys to the children's hospital. So I was like, okay. So I made sure when I got there, I introduced myself to his mom, his managers. He had a PR lady that was there. And then he also had his own personal videographer that was there too. So I just made sure to introduce myself to everybody else first before I just run up to Micah and be like, man, I'm a huge fan of the Cowboys. And like, I didn't want to be like that.
Do they you got a constant what you call it, customer or whatever you want to supporter, like that keep coming back?
I have a few that keep coming back. Yeah, like whenever they're in town, they hit me up and be like, hey, we're gonna be here at this show. Come through. So I'm like, okay.
Okay, so 2025 what's I'd say about 3 goals that you got.
To start making $10K a month in my business. I did just start my own podcast called the ARC Spotlight Podcast. It's out on YouTube and all streaming platforms. My main goal with that one is to have like entrepreneurs, celebrities, everyday people come on and share their stories of how they reach their success. That way to motivate others. Because I get a lot of questions from people that's like, hey, how is it like working with this person?
Yeah.
And so if I could bring them on my podcast and then have people like go to my podcast and watch the video, then it kind of like helped them a lot.
And it cut down the questions. Be like, hey, check out
Yeah.
my YouTube. Right, that's 2. So
the third one, well, I just got my clothing brand trademark. So I want to focus more on my clothing brand as far as like marketing it, and then also like making it to like athletic wear too. So that would be my third goal.
Okay, that's good. Any more questions y'all got? No.
What made you get into the clothing brand?
So I started seeing like different creative brands that the celebrities would wear right before they go on stage. Because not every celebrity got Gucci and Prada and all that stuff on. Sometimes they would have custom-made pieces on. I'd be like, wow, that is really nice. And I would ask the celebrity, like, who styled that for you? And they would direct me to their stylist, and then the stylist would be like, oh, yeah, this brand reached out to us, and I shared it with the celebrities, see if they like it. And they like it, and they wore it on the stage. So that's what made me feel like, okay, I can design my own pieces, too. And then when I'm out, like, working, if people see my designs and then I'm already behind the camera too, they're going to be like, oh, who designed that? So kind of inspired me to create my own brand and just put it out there too. Plus being a Black woman too, I was just like, man, I want to have my own clothing brand and be able to reach a different audience with clothing brands.
Yeah. Okay. So before we close out, we like to give motivation to people that's watching you or just people that probably gonna see this and want to know the ins and outs. So, what's some motivation you could give somebody?
Yes, I would say motivation would be to never give up, keep going. I have a lot of people that reach out to me that would love to work with Getty Images, and I always tell them like, you got to keep putting your best work out there, and submitting it because there's a way for people to like submit their work to Getty to get noticed. And they just have to keep submitting. And if Getty really likes your work, they will reach out to you. So I always say, like, never give up. And if your work isn't getting noticed by a particular person, keep tagging them, make videos, put yourself out there. And then always be kind to people that you meet because you never know who that person could be. So, yeah.
All right. So that's it. We can start closing out.
Follow your boy at official Kevon the Great.
You can follow me at Trap Minute P. I was him for they put the H&M in him.
Type shit.
Follow me at Creative ARC Media, and then also follow my podcast at the ARC Spotlight Podcast.
Your clothing brand?
Yeah, my clothing brand too. You can check out my clothing brand at the ARC. Well, let me get the correct website. It's called arcedgestyles.com, and you can order like a hoodie on there. It's already pre-made and everything. So once you make the hoodie, once you place the order, I'll be able to ship the hoodie to you.
And it's your host, JP. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Perrier, the Don Perrier. Thank you for watching. This is Central Hudson Podcast.
Like, comment,
Subscribe.
Share it to your mom now. We out.
Man.
Thank you.
Thank you.